You've probably heard the saying, you never have a second chance to make a first impression. This is especially true when it comes to renting apartments and homes in your community. The first impression most prospects have with your community is a phone call with you. How you handle that phone call will determine whether or not this prospect decides to rent from your community or from somewhere else. Because this interaction is so critical to the success of your community, Wilhoit Properties orders shopping reports for all its on-site staff once a quarter. The thought of being shopped can be stressful to new managers and leasing agents. However, the purpose of these calls is not to scare you or make you nervous about answering the phone. Here's the good news. There are numerous tools available to help you ace your mystery shopping report. The purpose of the shopping report is to train you in your phone technique. Understanding what's on the report will greatly aid you in this process. The shopping report is divided into 5 sections. The greeting, 24 points. Qualifying, 12 points. Demonstrating, 12 points. The invitation, 26 points. And finally, the closing, 26 points. We will now look at each section and what you need to do to maximize your points and turn prospects into residents. The perfect phone call starts with the perfect greeting. Make sure to thank the caller for calling and let them know the name of your community. If you manage more than one community, you can name all of the communities in your portfolio or simply say thank you for calling Wilhoit Properties. Don't forget to introduce yourself. People like to know who they're talking to. Ask the caller how you can help them. It's important to create a sense of relationship on the phone call. One of the best ways of doing this is to ask for the caller's name and then use it in the conversation. If you're not sure how to pronounce the caller's name, it is fine to ask them to repeat themselves or even ask for them to spell their name for you. You need to convey a warm and inviting attitude throughout the phone call. The caller should never feel like they are being rushed or that they are an interruption to your day. Stay focused and attentive. The person on the other end of the line should be your top priority. You shouldn't be talking to other residents or staff members when you're on the phone with a prospect. It's important to try to qualify the prospect over the phone. You can't help someone if you don't know what they're looking for. All of the following items are part of the qualifying process. You need to know the size of the apartment the prospect is looking for. Are they looking for a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom? Sometimes square footage is a factor as well. When does the prospect want or need to move in? There are a lot of factors that go into this. If you happen to be on a tax credit property, it can take up to 14 days just to get through the qualifying process. You also need to know the number of occupants in the household. Remember that you should never ask someone how many children they have. Simply ask the total number for that household. You will also need to be aware of occupancy standards. For Wilhoit Properties, the occupancy standard is 2 people per bedroom. The price range and budget question can be a little tricky. In fact, many managers and leasing agents miss this one. The best way to do it is to ask right after you give them the prices for your apartments. For example, if you tell them that your 2 bedrooms rent for $1,000, you could simply ask, is that within the price range you were looking for? Is the prospect planning on bringing any pets with them? You need to let them know what your community's pet policy is. You will want to ask the caller if they have any special needs or preferences. We ask this question to determine if the prospect has any accessibility needs, such as a downstairs unit or a roll-in shower. However, you should never ask the prospect if they have a disability. You can learn a lot about a caller by asking them why they are moving. They may tell you that they are moving to be closer to their job or closer to family. Don't forget to ask the prospect how they heard about you. That information can be used in your marketing efforts and let you know if your current advertising is effective or not. Here is a very important reminder when it comes to pets. If the prospect at any time in the call mentions that they have a service animal or a companion animal or emotional support animal, you must make sure to let them know that we do not charge any fees or deposits for these types of animals. You also need to understand that Wilhoit Properties does not have any breed or size restrictions when it comes to service or support animals. Demonstrating is the sales part of your prospect call. In this section, you will use words to paint a picture of your apartments and your community. You want to give the caller just enough information to get them interested in a visit. You will want to sell the caller on your apartment features. Find a few key features about your actual apartments and describe them to the caller. This might include items such as washer-dryer hookups or walk-in closets. As a new manager, you may actually want to tour your own property and write down a few things that stand out to you. Prospects don't always rent apartments just based on the apartment features themselves. They also like to know what your community has to offer. This would include items such as a playground or a swimming pool or a community room. You can also sell them on the fact that Wilhoit Properties offers 24-hour emergency maintenance. You've probably heard it said in real estate that the three most important factors are location, location, location. This is true when it comes to your community as well. Make sure to sell the caller on your location. Let them know if you're close to shopping areas or restaurants or local schools. It's very important to create a sense of urgency and invite the caller to visit your community. There are a number of ways to create a sense of urgency. Make sure to let the caller know if you're running any move-in specials or incentives. Move-in specials typically have an end date, so make sure to let the caller know when that is. For example, if you're running a half off the first month's rent special, make sure to let them know that it ends at the end of this month. Remind the caller that all of our apartments and homes are rented on a first-come, first-served basis. You need to create such an excitement that the caller cannot wait to come visit your community. This all goes back to creating a picture with your words. Remember to always extend an invitation to every caller to visit your community. You should do this even if you do not have apartments to show. You can still show them around your community and give them information to take with them. Don't ever assume that the caller doesn't want to come. Leave that decision up to them. Don't forget to set a specific appointment for the prospect. They will be more likely to visit your community if you've set a date and time. During the closing section of the call, you will want to include the following items. Ask the caller for contact information such as a phone number or email address. You will want to follow up with this prospect at some point, and you won't be able to do so without this information. Invite the caller to visit the Wilhoit website. They will be able to find more information about your community, such as pictures and floor plans. Make sure to give the prospect specific directions to visit your community. And last, but certainly not least, don't forget to thank the prospect for calling you. Here's a few training tips to help you ace your mystery shopping report and turn prospects into residents. Remember that you should treat every caller as a possible shopper. It may sound a little cheesy, but smile when you answer the phone. It's a proven fact that you sound more excited and pleasant when you have a smile on your face. Like I mentioned before, remember to focus on the caller, not other things going on in your office. Use the guest information sheet as your guide. It was created using information directly from the shopping report. Ask for the caller's phone number at the beginning of the phone call. You could say something such as, "Could I get your phone number in case we get disconnected?" Use the caller's name right after they give it to you. For example, "I'm so happy you called today, Paula. What size apartment are you looking for?" Make sure to mention your community's minimum and maximum income requirements. If you have tax credit units or home units, make sure to mention those as well, but this should not be the focus of your call. Always offer directions to your community. Don't just assume that everyone knows where you are located. Even if the caller suggests that they do know where you are, make sure to confirm that with them before you end the call. Get in the habit of inviting every caller to visit your community, even if you have no apartments available to show at the time. Make sure to document the date and time of every call or visit on your guest information sheet. Let's talk a little bit about Wilhoit's shopping report policy. All on-site staff members, including managers, assistant managers, and leasing agents, will be shopped at least once every quarter. You will be sent a written copy of your report along with a link to listen to the phone call. Make sure to review every call and use this information as a training tool. You will also want to make sure that the shopper awarded you every point that you earned. Staff members that score 100% on their shopping report will get a $100 bonus on their paycheck at the end of the quarter. Staff members that score 70% or lower will be required to take further training. Staff members that score 60% or lower will receive a performance improvement plan and be required to take further training. Don't be discouraged if you score low on a shopping report. Simply use this information as a training tool and learn from your mistakes.